Hello and welcome to Hot Springs and Hydras, our new D&D game. We are playing Animalfolk in an animal forest, and I don't know what we're going to be doing. But I have a bunch of my friends here for this game, and it's our first session. We'll be meeting the characters and learning sort of how they interact with the environment, because a lot of what's going on is directly stems from the characters that they have brought to the table, which of course is why I asked all these people, because they have great ideas that I'm super excited to see and play. So, I'm DarcyBits. You can find me here at this channel, twitch.tv/DarcyBits, or on my YouTube. I use they, them pronouns, and I usually make content reacting to Urza's artificial intelligence cards, some of which I've used as inspiration for things that will happen, but they're just inspiration, so take it all with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, B, friend of the show, you're all friends of the show. We're already on the show, but you've been on the show before, different properties, different shows, not this one. This is a new show. I'm just completely flustering myself. B, who are you? Talk about stuff.
It's good. It's all good. Yes, hi, I'm B. If you want to see more of me, you should watch this channel more, because I'll be honest sometimes.
Yeah.
Hi, see her pronouns. I'm Darcy's girlfriend. That's about it.
Cool. Who are you playing?
Cast.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the cat.
Yes, you're playing a cat.
Yeah.
Just as a sort of heads up, we are using 5th edition D&D. We are using the official races from it, but we are playing not necessarily one-to-one examples. So I believe that your character is using the Tabaxi stat block, but we're just going to call you a cat, because this isn't really D&D. It doesn't really have Tabaxi. Those are kind of a setting-specific thing. Maybe there will be an in-fiction term for the cat people. I'm just going to call you cats for right now. Anything you want everyone to know about your character?
I think we'll get to that when we get to that.
Excellent. Great. Well, let's hand off to Mocha.
Hello, I'm Mocha. My online name is Mocha Splats. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr. I'm playing Winston Wetfoot, who's a capybara who owns like a hot spring, and I think his thing is dwarf. He's a dwarf druid. Yes.
Yeah, I believe you're since capybara people do not exist in official D&D, we based your race off of a Goliath. We did make a slight modification. Instead of having the cold tolerance, you have better mobility in the water and can hold your breath and stuff like that. Similar to a lizard folk would. For anyone who's following along rules-wise and is curious about that stuff. But yes, the hot springs are going to be, they're a titular part of the show, which is the sort of, what would you describe it as? Like, I've been sort of thinking of it as kind of a way stop between two places, sort of like a small town and a bustling city, and this is the port of call between the two, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably also
like
people. Yeah, there might be a little bit of a. I'm not sure how much of like a village this is. Like, you're kind of just have your own stuff going on, but people come through either because they're traveling and they want to not have to do the entire thing in one night, or possibly even as sort of a tourist feels like the wrong word, but that kind of a thing, right? Like, it's a hot springs.
Yeah, something like that. Just the tiniest little nook in the forest where you can get supplies and a little bit of rest.
Great. That's awesome. Let's hand over to Bianca.
Hello, Internet. I am Bianca. You can find me on the Internet occasionally as Uncanny Tree. I was on Twitch for a bit, haven't done anything in a while, and that's pretty much all I do, because social media sucks.
Agreed.
I'm playing Flynn Proudtail. I personally use she, her pronouns, but I am playing a male character just to make things confusing for everyone.
Good.
Flynn is a squirrel noble who decided to be a ranger. So I just kind of like travel around and take care of the forest for the most part. take care of
Yes,
the people.
all of this sort of area that we are planning to play in, unless something dramatic happens and we end up on the opposite side of the world, is sort of in the, like, I don't know exactly what you would describe the plot of land that your noble family is the caretakers of, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I guess like region maybe, or
Like a duchy? I don't know.
Maybe kind
Yeah.
of duchy, yeah.
Something like
Few
that.
points.
Yeah.
But you are not like a specifically wielding noble power, but you do feel like it is your responsibility to take care of these people, especially since you don't really probably have to worry too much about your own livelihood
Precisely.
from your birth. Yeah. Very good. And so lastly, that brings us to Chris, who is my brother. My brother!
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm going to be playing Puddles the turtle.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a turtle. Puddles is a hermit who lived out in the woods at a hot spring for quite a long time. He didn't really keep very good track of time, and eventually this capybara showed up and wanted to build a way station there, and he just stayed. It seemed like that wasn't a good reason to stop living there. And he's
So
still
good.
there. So he's still there. And he's got some magic tricks. There's a little bit of a dragon turtle ancestor deep in the family tree, and he's gotten nice and close with nature, living out in the forest. And
You
not
make
a druid, he's a sorcerer, but really, what are labels?
You make a really good point, actually, about how in this world, right, we're not seeing humans and orcs and elves, and so a lot of what you would expect from a D&D setting, like monsters-wise, is also not there. But things that are very dramatically not animal or human do exist, like dragons. But we're probably going to mostly add a little bit of a animalistic bent to them. So you might see a giant dragon turtle, or you might see some kind of like owlin dragon or something. These, of course, aren't like common in place and things that you would be discussing from day to day, but they might be the sort of things that show up in legend. I imagine we open seeing sort of an establishing shot of the hot springs from like this trail that passes between this this fishing village. I guess there are fish. I hadn't really thought much about it. And this larger city. I don't know if it's like a capital or not, but it's like where the noble family would be sort of based out of, that sort of thing. And Mocha, could you let me know sort of what this place looks like from if a passerby was walking down this trail and they saw the lights of the hot springs, what would they see? What would it look like?
I would imagine it's an overgrown forest of just giant trees, just almost mountain-like trees where you could like go into them and like create homes and shops and whatnot. And then sort of in the middle of town, there's like a particularly large tree where you enter it through like sort of like a root system, and you see this like rivers and like small puddles of like hot spring. That's all naturally created. And it's sort of like glowing teal because we can say maybe the water has magical properties.
Sure.
And you can like wander around into the tree, and there's like different caves and crevices that are like part of the hot spring system. And there may be little shops sort of outside of the tree that's part of the general village or the tiny village. Just like little huts that are selling things.
Nice. I sort of picture this like as the show of this opens, if this was like a TV show or a movie, the camera's sort of moving through these spaces. How like busy is it with like travelers? I imagine that people aren't often going up and down these these trails because the wilds are dangerous because it is D&D after all. But when someone does travel, like a merchant might have like an escort so that they can make sure that they're well protected. So then, if they do show up to the hot springs because they want to stop the night, it would not just be one merchant; it'd be one merchant and their entourage and stuff like that, or possibly even like a caravan. So probably there's like ebbs and flows to the activity, I imagine.
I don't think it would be too busy since it's sort of in the middle of nowhere. But
Yeah.
I think there would be groups of people entering. But in this particular day, I think there's just a turtle in the main hot spring.
Nice. I sort of imagine that the camera sort of moves through, and there's more of a sort of like in common area that it settles on. That's sort of the main square, if you will, that leads right. Like there's a place for you to do business as Winston, and then also it leads into sort of the main hot springs, as you say.
I imagine it's like a sort of sizable, almost lake, and it branches off into different little pockets. And surrounding the lake, there might be like places to rest. There's like benches. There's like warm stones that you can lay on and whatnot.
Nice, very nice. So you are in this sort of general common area. What do you actually? I mean, would you like to describe yourself in more detail than a capybara?
I'm fairly large, just like a bipedal capybara. I have a towel around my waist, although usually I wear like a robe or something. And I'm just kind of mopping the floor a little bit and just like very slow and lazily without a care in the world.
Very nice. Who else is here? B or Bianca.
I'd like to be one of the characters, or possibly the character, that kind of walks in during the opening scene, kind of like shaking the dust of the road out of my clothes.
Nice.
I walk in and greet Winston. I think I'd probably stop by here, maybe once or twice a week, or as my travels take me. I try and come by and say hi on a regular basis, though. This is kind of like my getaway. This little hideaway in the woods. So I come in, shaking dust off my clothes, and I greet Winston. And then I think I just go and like flop down at the edge of the main hot spring and stick my feet right in. Just like, oh, so glad to be off the road.
Nice.
I'm blowing bubbles. I'm floating on my back.
Oh, very good. Just floating there. You are more you're a turtle person, right? Like while D&D uses the term turtle because they want to be generic and between turtles and tortoises, you are more of a turtle.
I think there's a different reason that they use the word turtle, but yeah, I'm a turtle. It seemed possibly a tortoise. I don't know, a turtle.
Fair enough. Cass, B's character, are you present?
Yeah. I think I think maybe I am. I think I am trying to, I think what I'm doing is I'm in the corner with like a kind of like talking very fast to like a young couple who also just came in. We met outside on the road. And I've been trying to, and I've been kind of selling them on this very very fine. So I'm saying, like, if you think the water here is great, you should hear about the water, the springs up north in the Northlands. Is very fine. It has all kinds of very fine medicinal qualities. I can sell you some for just for I can get you a good deal. I've just actually been up there and just talking very fast. They seem, I imagine, kind.
You drink the water that the people bathe in?
Yeah. Well, not them, of course. So you see,
I'm
it's
not
not
sure about
them.
that.
Well, it's not that they bathe in it, but actually, but the various creatures they bathe in, and their health, their vigor, it's absorbed into the water, and you can. And it was what gets them their strength. You know the people in the North, they're very strong. This is their secret. This is how they do it.
I haven't heard of that. Must,
Yeah, not many people have. Well, they don't really tell people about it, you know.
you must travel
But
a lot.
well, yes, I have. You know, it's for business, of course.
Who are these people you're talking to? Like what type of creatures are they?
It's just a lovely young dog couple.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Would you like to make a deception check to swindle this couple?
Yeah. Also,
Sorry, you're cutting out there.
the
Try again.
water is just to be clear, the water is actually from here. It's just like got cold. So
Good.
that's what I'm doing. Yes, I will roll deception.
Great. So you should go just pull
deception's
that up.
right?
Yeah, deception should be perfect. I mean, persuasion's also relevant, but you are straight up lying, right? Like.
Yeah, yeah. So we're taking the left, right?
Yes. So let's just walk through using Roll20 here. You all have character sheets. You can click on a ability or a skill, and it will roll for you. Your D20, add the relevant modifiers, and it will give you 2 rolls. If you have advantage, you'll be taking the better of the 2. If you have disadvantage, you'll be taking the worst of the 2. And any other time, just take the first one, the one on the left. So in this case, you've rolled an 11, and they're sort of like, I don't really know. That seems, how much is it going for? I don't know if that's something that we could really afford. We're just, staying here the night, moving on into the city. We don't have a lot of.
Oh well, I'm staying here tonight too. Just come by anytime. I'd be happy to. It's so heavy.
Sorry, you're cutting out there, B. Apologies. Try that again.
Oh, sorry.
No, just give it another shot.
No, I'm just saying. Well, I'll be around anytime. Just come on by. If you ever want to take a look at this water, try some for yourself. I'm sure you'll feel invigorated. Just I happen to be staying the night here too, so.
Well, we'll think about it then. Thank you. What was your name?
Cass, ma'am.
Good to meet you, Cass. Cool. The rest of you were in the vicinity for this, but not directly, relevant. You may or may not have heard what was happening. What is Can you actually describe yourself quickly, Cass?
Yeah. Yeah. She has like a dark green cloak with it has like some kind of esoteric symbols on it, like some people might recognize from if they've been to like out of the capital city, but she's kind of hoping they don't. It is and yeah, just like a big pack of just like a big her back. Also like she has like a bunch of like stuff under. She has like a kind of a cloak that you can raise up and see all various tinctures and stuff underneath. And yeah.
Nice. Do you sell to the proprietor? Mocha, you should be part of this discussion too, of course.
I tend not to do that because I feel like I don't know. I maybe try it once and like it didn't go so well.
Well, I mean, does everything that you peddle, is it all useless garbage?
Some of it is legitimate medicine.
Okay.
A good like 60%.
So are you a snake oil salesman that doesn't know you're a snake oil salesman?
So you don't sell to You don't sell to
Winston.
Well, I don't think I've been here in like
Winston
years, but like
out of
I remember
respect.
this place.
Oh, interesting. What brings you into the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it
I,
you don't sell to Winston out of respect? Is that what you're trying to say?
uh, respect, maybe like they saw through my play one time. And I was like, you know, best like let them forget about me. But yeah, like
So actually, I mean, I'd like to ask. I'd like to throw this to Winston.
My friends.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I talked over you there.
I just said, so is this I don't do business with my friends because I don't want to rip off my friends?
I don't think I really know Winston that well, but I'm sure we'll get to know them as the adventure goes on. But I think I'm just here.
Okay. I'd like to actually throw this to
Around.
Mocha then. Winston, as you saw originally, and maybe it's a little bit of a minor flashback, but when Cass originally came in, did you recognize them from the last time they were here? Because you did say, Cass, that you had been here before, just not recently.
Yeah, like maybe a year or two ago, or like sometime, yeah. I
don't
have a
think I would
large.
recognize you if you're not like if you came like a year ago. I don't think I would recognize you.
Okay. So you have other sort of
Actually-
suppliers and stuff that you see on a more regular basis.
Yeah,
I think so.
actually, I'm sorry, Chris. What's your character's name again?
Puddles.
Puddles. Yeah. I wonder if Puddles would recognize.
Oh, just from like having a long memory.
Yeah.
So Puddles is you probably don't know exactly how old Puddle is or anything like that, but Puddles has been at this hot spring probably as long as anyone can remember, unless someone else has been here for a very long time and we want to get into the specifics.
Okay.
So Puddles probably recognizes your face if you've been back this way a fair number of times.
Yeah, I say like let's see if I've been doing this for like about a decade, or about half a decade, then like there once or twice.
How long has this
Shady
hot
salesperson
spring
means you want to have a long route.
Yeah. How long has this hot spring way station been here? Okay.
Winston is. Let me check. Winston's like 150 years old, so I'm guessing probably at least 50 years old. This hot spring.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. Seems reasonable. And since we're mentioning how long we've been around, that makes me immediately curious about Flynn, who also I sort of accidentally skimmed by and didn't give you a proper chance to introduce yourself by look, how you appear.
Okay, yeah. So Flynn's a classic ranger. Typically leather armor, forest colors, grays, greens, browns. Not a whole lot of like metal accoutrement. And I am a red squirrel, which is completely counterintuitive to camouflage. But
you prefer the autumn.
Pardon?
You prefer the autumn.
Yes. Yeah, that's the easiest. But yeah, it's just your classic kind of squirrel character, mostly bipedal. Not really sure what else to say about him visually.
Great. No, I mean that's good stuff. But are you? We are, of course, being kind of wibbly wobbly with our ages and stuff because we're not based on real animals. But how long do you think you've been around and kicking, and maybe even doing the ranger thing?
I think Flynn's probably like. I'm not sure how long a lifespan squirrels have compared to capybaras in this world. But I was thinking that Flynn would be kind of like whatever the equivalent age would be for sort of like mid to late 30s. For our modern human lifespans, right? So like definitely an adult, but still kind of has that like hopeful mentality of life, you know?
Very good.
Yeah, I think Cass, she's like in her early 20s,
Okay.
and the thing, yeah, she may look a bit older, but yeah.
Nice. And you were telling me before that you're a black cat. I don't know exactly what like breed, and I don't know
Oh,
if it matters what breed because we are weird animal people. But your colorations
yeah,
are like black.
yeah, black with some white spots here and there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as you finish up attempting to swindle these people, and they sort of are like, maybe, I don't really know. But they sort of extricate themselves from that conversation with the idea that maybe one of them will like stop by later to you sort of give them a place where you can probably see them, or maybe you'll be here at. Is there a bar? I don't really know exactly what the like layout of this inn situation is.
Yeah.
I think there's tiny shops, like part of the inn, just like really tiny, and like tiny little lodgings that are sort of in little caves. It's very basic.
Do you, Winston, like run the sort of like inn situation, or would that be like you directing people somewhere else in the hot springs?
I think maybe it's mostly just me, maybe like one or two assistants,
Okay,
because we don't get a lot of visitors at all.
nice. That makes sense. Just the way that you say there's like a couple of shops makes me think there's got to be other people who are running those shops. Otherwise, okay, now I'm picturing you being like, go to this shop, and then you like walk around behind. You're like, here's the stuff. I can sell it to you. Now that I'm standing here.
Yeah, precisely.
There's like a Legend of Zelda character that's exactly like that.
Good.
It's just like unmanned. There's like a sign that says like ring for service, and you ring, he just drops everything and runs over.
Oh.
Good. Very good.
I kind of have been envisioning this as like you keep saying little shops, and I keep picturing just like little pop-up stands of like local forest folk who come here to sell like the baskets that they weave in their spare time.
Oh,
or
there's just
something
like a
that.
farmer's market like area.
Yeah, that kind of a thing.
I like
On
that.
top of
The idea that people don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to go all the way into the city. There's like this nice spot that's half the distance for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Or especially just like probably where you stay if you're here, if you're not from here. So, tourists.
Yeah.
And like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I think that all works really well. So I think while the sort of dog couple, they seem to be walking out somewhere. I don't know exactly where they're going, but they head out. And as they leave, we see this this bird person walking in, sort of strutting in, their wings tucked behind their back.
Bird person.
Bird person. Oh?
That's potentially a problem for Flynn. Flynn sits up, becomes very alert.
Okay.
But he stays calm.
Good.
Everything's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they come in. They're not like... I do actually have a picture that I'm going to drop in a second, but I'm realizing now the picture is very jovial. And I think they're probably walking in a lot more... Not like... just depressed or anything, but just kind of like a lot more withdrawn? You know what I'm saying? And they, walk in, approaching Winston. So Winston, let's meet this fun character here. So this bird with like bronze feathers. They're wearing like some leather armor, with kind of a skirt modeled after feathers on their waistline. And they go up to you, Winston, to ask you about about the hot springs and such, and you probably recognize them. They're not like, you know, in all the time. No one's really in all the time, but I think that probably as a what do I say? A proprietor of a inn in hot springs, you probably recognize. You probably make a point to recognize people when you can. So this is Aldrin, who is I guess maybe you don't really know exactly what their like situation is, but they come by every once in a while and ask for lodgings. So there's like, Winston, how are you doing, old chap?
Oh, welcome. Is it Alton?
Aldrin.
It's been a while.
Yes.
Aldrin. Oh goodness, it's been quite
I
a while.
appreciate that you remembered even that much.
Well, you're quite hard to forget.
Thank you.
We don't get many bird folks in here.
Yes, I suppose so. Every once in a while, you run into someone who's still quite a bit suspicious, unfortunately, but, you know. I mean, well.
Yeah, so come in. Like, what can I get you? Do you want something to eat? Somewhere to stay?
Something to eat would be good, but really, I'm just looking for lodgings for the night. Just have a troublesome report.
We have many options. We have the presidential suite, which is a slightly larger cave with a queen-size bed, which is sort of bird-sized, I suppose. Oh goodness, it's been a while. It's been a while since we got someone staying over. But come in.
Thank you.
Can we get just some quick clarification on like the kind of bird that this might be?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like, are we talking like little like forest sparrow or chickadee size, or are we talking like hawk?
I'm thinking more like sparrow-like, but in the like range of, you know, in our sort of animal person range of being a regular medium-sized ish person. They're not small, but medium, probably standing if we used normal, which I feel like we should be using sort of normal human height measurements, because I don't think that the forest is massive because you're tiny. The forest is massive because it's massive. So probably standing at like 5'8" or something.
Okay. Yeah. Not a bird of prey.
Not a bird of prey.
Okay.
Oh, you can rest easy now.
But they will make their way to wherever you lead them for a quick meal. But they are otherwise largely keeping to themselves, just wanting a quick meal and then gonna find their way to a place to rest.
So I'm gonna heave bags of grains, and I'm going like frantically because I'm the only one kind of working there that day. So, oh no, let me get you something. Let me get you this. Just 1 second. My bad. And I leave them alone, sort of in that little cave lodging area. And then I slump down and I'm like, phew, yes. Good job, I say to myself.
Yeah, as you tend to their needs, unless anyone wants to do anything, you know, after eating and being shown to their lodgings, they'll turn in for the night. That, of course, might happen over the course of several hours, but just as a sort of, this is where things are going, so that you can know how to add yourselves to those scenes if you wish to do so. That's sort of how I tend to like to GM a lot of situations where I'm like, I know what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, but you can interject anywhere if you feel like it. So that's sort of what's being telegraphed there. Is there anything anyone would like to do for the time being?
I think I tried to find some people who are who I feel might be who I could sell some things to and make some sales, but mostly like legitimate ones with stuff that does what it says it does. But
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
what you're saying to me, I think, is largely. I like the idea of going around and seeing what does the next few hours of your night look like in just a short description, and we might be skipping ahead after those short descriptions, or they might lead into scenes. So we see Cass busying herself by. You said you're looking for more marks, effectively.
Yeah, both Marks appeal to like actually sell things too. That yeah.
Okay.
Again, like you can't like rely on Marks all the time. You have to sell like sell some legitimate things, or else.
Well, that's why I was
gets
wondering.
around.
That's why I was wondering before if you sold to like Winston's, and then Winston could vouch for you. Sounds like
I
no.
don't know. Winston seems also. I think it's like a thing of like Winston seems too nice. I wouldn't.
Sure.
I think there's like part of it I don't really have the heart to try and like sell to Winston.
Great. So we see you busying yourself with those tasks. Puddles, do you just continue to enjoy the hot springs like all evening?
Probably not all evening. I think I was just in for a soak when the scene opened up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll be getting out and I'll like be tidying things up. I think I help out around the place here since I be living here the whole time. I have a cabin nearby and we help each other out, I think.
That sounds nice.
And yeah, do a little bit of chatting with the visitors. Like to, now that there's more people coming, more as in any people coming
Sure.
by this way, I'm getting more and more interested in hearing news.
Cool. I'd love to see like an example scene of that. Is there anyone? I mean, it's more interesting to use characters we've already seen. So I think either like maybe you find your way to that dog couple and have a chat with them, or maybe Aldrin or anyone else.
Yeah. I'll probably be around where the dogs introduce themselves. I guess they're anyway.
They could.
Yeah, I think I am coming. I come over to them at the sort of common room, I guess it would be. And I kind of sit down at the end of the table without really asking, and it's sort of, hey, I'm Puddles. Where did you come here from?
These are the dogs, or is this where Aldrin's eating?
The dogs.
Okay. Oh.
And I've got
hello.
this like, I've got like sort of like a wooden mug tankard thing, and it's actually like full of tea. It's like a big beer mug, but it's full of tea, and I've got like a bamboo straw. So I'm sipping it through.
Very good. Oh, we just came up from Auric Harbor.
What? Auric Harbor?
It's the little fishing village down south.
What's a carver? I've never heard of a carver before.
Harbor?
I thought you said Auric Harbor.
Auric Harbor.
Auric Harbor! With boats!
Yeah!
Oh, boats are really fun. I like making boats out of paper.
That's nice, dear.
It is. It is nice. Do you ever make boats?
Well, actually, my husband's a shipwright, so.
Are you jumping in as one of these characters, or are you adding yourself to the scene?
No. I was just joking. Yeah.
I think that they don't. I think they say something like, "Oh, we don't, build the boats ourselves. Some of the beavers of the area supply a lot of the lumber and woodworking. But we do go out and
Oh, what's the biggest boat?
the biggest boat. They're not like ocean vessels. Really, just fishing.
Fishing. What's the biggest fish?
They can come pretty big, honestly. So.
Did you bring any?
These poor dog people.
Yeah, we brought some for our travels, salted for good traveling. You can see they're starting to get kind of nervous, unless you want to do something so they're not nervous. Puddles?
Let's see. Do something so they're not nervous.
I don't know. I mean, you're a sorcerer full of charisma, and I feel like it may be a little unjust of me to like have everyone be a little bit uncomfortable around you. That seems like the opposite of what a sorcerer would do, just due to your innate charisma. But if you want to have that not be the case, you should express such a things. But maybe you want that to be the case. I mean, charisma doesn't just mean people like you. It means that your personality is large and apparent.
Well, no, I'm very charming, as you can tell. Very, very charming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh. Can I try the fish? We don't really get any salt up here.
Oh, make me a persuasion test or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a 21.
Is it?
Yeah, you got a 19 on
okay.
the die, and then you added 2 from your charisma. I guess you're not trained in persuasion?
Nope.
That's reasonable. Being trained in persuasion is like learning how to manipulate people. I say just use your natural charisma. Yeah, I don't know. So you sort of continue this conversation for a bit, and they start sort of opening up to you, warming up to you, I feel like is the right term. And pretty soon they're like, yeah, like that. Let's you're eating together eventually, and they're showing you.
I'm in bubble tea.
The
It's
sort
what
of
we
like
make over here.
um
We call it a bubble tea because of the bubbles in the hot springs, but it's really there's no bubbles in it.
I don't know what to say.
It's nice though.
Personality is large and apparent.
But they are warming up to you and are like starting to, they're sharing their rations because they're interested in hearing how you react to it, if you like it. It's not like it's a fancy dish. I think that's probably where it goes. We're like, it's really not. It's not a fancy dish.
Oh, but it's salty.
Well,
We're a long way from the
I hope
sea.
you like it. So that's actually really nice.
I don't get salt very much.
I've mostly been talking as one of them because that's so much easier. But the other dog is probably saying something like, "Yeah, you should come down to Oriak Hills Harbor sometime just to see what it's like. It's not that far, really. I know that the road can be kind of dangerous. We actually came up with
I might have to leave my rocks behind, though.
Well, I mean,
I don't really
they'll still
like
be
to
there.
leave because I have so many rocks, and they don't travel very well.
I suppose that's the difficulty with traveling, but they'll still be here when you get back, right?
Yeah, but they'll get lonely.
I think Flynn's been kind of like eavesdropping a little bit, or just, maybe the chamber that we're all in is kind of echoey.
Sure.
And he overheard them saying something about the roads not being super safe, and that they had actually traveled up with, and then they got kind of interrupted, or he missed what they said. But I think he's gonna chime in now and inquire, like, who did they travel up with? Just casually making conversation about their travel.
It was a merchant in the air, bringing goods from Auriok up to Thessalia, and already had an escort going with them. Didn't mind us tagging along. We did want to only come up this far, though, so probably have to wait until someone's going back down. But there's always people coming through here, so probably be able to find someone to travel with on the way back. I should get you a name for this merchant. I did not plan for that. So let's
And
say...
these dogs.
Pardon?
And the dogs.
I mean, sure, if you want to introduce... If you want to ask their names.
Puddles.
Sorry, I think you got out there, Chris. Did you ask their names and say your name was Puddles?
No, just the second part.
Oh, okay. Good. Excellent. Very nice.
I mean, I can see being charmed by Puddles.
Yeah, totally. It's nice to meet you,
It's kind of
Puddles.
an Olaf vibe.
That is accurate.
Same.
Who's Olaf?
From Frozen, the snowman.
Oh, okay, the snowman. Yeah, okay. I can see it. Olaf is also Puddles.
That is sometimes, yeah.
In the summer? Yeah.
It's accurate. Very good.
Puddles is quite large, by the way.
Yeah, so you're still within that like medium ballpark, but probably pushing like how tall do you think?
How tall? The thing is that like Puddles doesn't really stand up straight because he's a turtle.
Yeah.
So like I think his head is lower than like the crest of his shell would be.
Right.
And the crest of his shell would probably be at like over 6 feet high.
That sounds right.
But he just takes up a lot of space.
Yes, because you are like wide.
Yeah. There's a big turtle shell. It's like the shell's maybe like 5 feet in diameter or something. And like round.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So you say you're Puddles, and the one says, "It's nice to meet you, Puddles. I'm Albert, and this is Lisa." And Lisa says to Flynn, "Yeah, the merchant we were traveling with, they were running for the." I can't remember the name of the what do you call that? Like a caravan? Not a caravan, but like a
Syndicate?
guild is good. Let's go with guild. Member of the. I just want to be like Southwest Trading Guild. Like I don't have a fancy name for this.
Probably doesn't have a fancy name.
Yeah, they don't have a fancy name.
I don't think they would. Yeah.
Guilds usually don't.
Yeah. Southwest Trading Guild. I didn't exactly get get their name. You know, there's a decent number in the escort. We just sort of were along for the ride.
Awful kind of them to let you tag along.
Yeah, it's good that there's good folk in the area.
Do you want to meet my rocks?
I'd be honored. I almost feel like fading away from that unless there's more. I don't want to cut anyone off if there's more people want to see, but that feels like a good little fading point.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens at night.
Before we get there, Winston, was there more that you wanted to? I'm curious about like some duties that you're up to, just because I think that you've mostly been busy, and so you haven't been in these like RP scenes.
I think it would be fun to pan the camera around and see, like, you don't see Winston at first, and then you pan to the waters, and you just see this head kind of half asleep in the waters because he doesn't currently have to attend to anyone, so he's doing the capybara thing.
Nice, very good. I like the idea that we sort of hold on this serene moment for a while. You're keeping an eye on everything that you need to be keeping an eye on right there, but you're relaxing at the same time. And I feel like this is a great point for you to start hearing some like gurgling and splashing sounds, some very agitated noises coming from not this hot spring, but not this like pool clearly, but one of the more farther out ones that are like if you were wandering through the forest, you could possibly wander into. I imagine that it's built up enough that people wouldn't just like fall in, like you've got like fences and stuff, but if that makes sense to you. I think that makes sense to me. But the ones that are on the most outside edge of the hot springs area, probably to the sort of southeast.
Oh, so I'll probably be like, oh, what is that? And then my head disappears under the water, and you just see the shadow traveling very fast underneath the water. I'm like paddling as hard as I could, and I'm taking the sort of the small rivery routes through and trying to get to whatever the noise is.
I like that.
And then I pop my head out.
Everyone else, you are wherever you happen to be at this stage, possibly during that scene, possibly on your way to see those rocks. You will hear these noises as well. And that's like not common noises, other than the fact that, like, you know, these are not super busy hot springs, but also just because that's not a person. So you can react as appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, she'll be curious to check it out.
Oh yeah, Flynn is all over that.
Mm-hmm.
He started running as soon as he saw Winston get agitated.
Yeah. So I think we cut to a one of the outer edge pools of the hot springs, and we see Winston be as the first to arrive, taking the faster route down the waterways as a agile swimmer that they are. And what you see is it's kind of hard to make out the water is frothing as something is agitatedly scrambling in there, but you're seeing like flashes of bright colors, and clawed hands, just a mess of limbs scrambling in one of these hot springs. What do you do?
What, like, any idea what kind of person is it, or if they're a person?
So we're gonna start with just Winston reacting. Everyone else will show up shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to give them a moment.
So I immediately pop my head out, and then I see them. I'm like, oh my goodness, our patron is dying. And then I pop back into the water, and I appear underneath them, and then I try to stand up and using my big flat square face, try to like push them out of the water.
Okay, so as you approach, you, I think that, like, especially, like, being under the water so near to them, you are hearing their sounds resonating through the water, with your active, strong ears. I need you to make me a saving throw. I think it's wisdom. I gotta double check this, though. I forgot to get this ready. Wisdom save 12. Very cool. Okay. You are hearing these, like, thrashing sounds, these gurgling sounds, and you're realizing inside them, it's not just the sound of, like, drowning. There is, like, this weird resonant to it that is really rattling your mind in a way. But you, I guess, don't breathe deep. You're underwater. You steady yourself. You feel the water lapping over you. You feel in your element, and it does not affect you negatively. You I assume you push on and continue to try to do as you were.
Yes. So
Very
I'm
good.
basically standing up now, and I have them over my head.
Yeah. So everyone else, as you start to make your way onto the scene, as you're sort of dashing through the passageways, first thing you notice is actually Aldrin has shown up and is flying overhead in the same direction that you're going, not like away from it or anything, but just like using that extra airspace above you to travel along. I think probably they even call down, like, did you see anything? What happened? So just like do a little scene of you running, please. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
No, just heard the noises and saw Winston get alert. Not usually like that unless someone new walks in or something's wrong.
Are they really this close? And they just sort of steady themselves and continue in the direction. As everyone makes their way into to where you can hear the sounds coming from, you get the hot spring pool in sight, and then you see rising out of the water, just slowly being pushed up out of the water like a cinematic whatchamacallit. This weird mass of fur and limbs, all multicolored and mismatched. How strong is everyone's perception? I just want to see, like, what's your how much you immediately pick up on. I don't need a perception check. I just want to know what everyone's, like, perception modifier is.
My perception is
I think I'm a plus
2.
Yeah, I think I'm a plus 2.
I think I'm at 4.
That would mean you have like 18 probably. Or I guess if you're trained in perception.
Yeah, we're looking in the skills table, right?
Yes. Yeah, so if anyone has proficiency in perception, they would have a plus 2 in addition to their wisdom. Yes,
okay, I'm at a 4 for that then.
Okay, so, Flynn, you're seeing this thing. It's like a melty pile of fur. There's at least 2 heads. One very lupine, one kind of like crocodilian, even though it's still covered in this weird multicolored fur. And the thing you really pick up on that everyone else is sort of their immediate perception has skimmed past is the eyes. There's not just a pair of eyes per head. They're cropping up on the sides of the lips and the crevices of, like, where an elbow should be and things like that. It is a mess.
Oh, no.
You're all, like, at a distance to that, like, as it pushes out, the drowning noises stop, but this, like, distorted voice continues to, like, ring from it. You're at enough of a distance that you're not going to be making the same test that I made Winston make, but this is what you see before you. Winston, you are pushing this thing up, and probably at this point, you maybe are noticing that it feels kind of weird and like slumpy on your back. What are you doing?
Yo, I'm so shocked. So I immediately kind of go towards the shore, the rock areas, and I'm trying to sort of headbutt it off of me onto the rocks to get a better look at what it is.
Great. Yeah, you sort of spill it out onto the rock, and it does kind of spill. It's got that, like, cats are liquid thing, but, like, there's multiple heads and arms coming out in weird angles, and yeah.
Yeah, I think Kath arrives about now. It's like, what in the hills? What is that? So I guess no one in particular, just like...
Yeah. Aldrin is... what does Aldrin do here? I think Aldrin says, like, well, I guess there's more. All right.
What?
I'm not exactly sure. I have a report to...
What do you mean by...
I have a report to give back to the council on these that I saw in the... Well, actually, I didn't see any of them. Just saw signs of them. Don't even know what it is. They've like landed next to Flynn. It's not a person though. We probably should do something about it. And they're gonna like take a... I think carrying weapons is not a weird thing unless you want to say otherwise, Winston. I don't think anyone like checks weapons when they show up here.
Oh, I don't think they bothered to check. Everybody has a weapon at this point.
Okay, great. So you see Aldrin pulling a rapier from... I guess they had it. I didn't describe it. They have it now. There you have it. And getting in sort of like a defensive stance. Not really sure about what they should do because they know there's something that they should be doing, but also they don't want to get too close. What does everyone else do?
I think I slowly back away from it. But my hands reaches behind my back where we see like under my pack are two short swords, ready to take them out. Everyone knows.
All right.
I think I start to arrive.
Okay, that makes sense.
I heard there's some commotion. I was just showing off my rocks. But everybody's yelling.
Stand back, sir. This is, well, not something for civilians. And Aldrin's gonna, like, lunge forward towards this thing. I'm gonna make a flat D20 check to see what happens. Oh, yeah. Oh, very good.
It doesn't seem like it's hurting anything.
All right. As the sounds continue to come from the misshapen mouth and multiple mouths of this just sad pile of fur and arms and teeth, Aldrin drops their sword and holds, just like covers their head with their wings. And I think I need to make a D8 roll to see what they actually do. 3. Okay. They collapse to their knees and shudder, pleading, "Get it out! Get it out! No! Get it out!"
So I think like at this point like Cass is like sense. Someone who tries to drag this person away from this thing, or like, they're like, what's are you okay? What's going on? What is this?
I'd like to move into proper initiative. I think that we're at that point. So if everybody wants to roll their initiative, please. There should be a button for it on your sheet, but if there's not, just roll your dexterity. It's the same thing unless you have special modifiers. All right, Flynn, you have the first chance to act. I do feel like, in general, there is, of course, if you wish to not act, that is fine. But yes, Flynn has initiative of 22 with a natural 20. Winston is at 15. Cass 12 and Puddles at 12 as well. Very good. So, Flynn, do you have an immediate reaction to this situation? You see, basically, since we're not going to be using an actual battle map, I don't like them. There is Cass, Puddles, and Flynn on one end of the room, or the passage, basically where it first starts to open up into this other pool. Then we've got Flynn on the prone, or like, not prone, but like on their knees, with their wings covering their head, and their rapier next to them on the ground. We've got this pile of fur and stuff, sort of just on the edge of these rocks at the edge of the pool, and then you can see Winston behind, just sort of in the water, taking in the situation. What do you do?
Oof. I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna try and get what was the bird's name again?
Aldrin.
Aldrin. I'm gonna try and pull Aldrin back away from this thing and see if that relieves whatever effect they're suffering.
Okay. Great. So you scamper forward, and carefully reach out and grab Aldrin to pull them back without getting too close to the source of the horrific noise. And you're able to pull them back. They are... The immediate response is just more of the same, just like, make it stop, get it out. If moving them back has helped, you won't know immediately. It might just be taking some time. That won't take your whole action, though, if you want to do anything else.
Okay, there's no immediate
response at the moment.
Okay. Flynn is super uncomfortable with this situation, but I'm gonna pull out my dagger and advance on this creature.
Okay. Would you like to make me a wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
You hear the gurgling, half-formed noises of the multiple mouths, and you brush them aside from your mind. You steel yourself ready to do what needs to be done. Whatever that happens to be, what do you do?
Is there any way to tell which brain is predominantly in control? You said there were heads?
No, there's not. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe they all are.
Okay. Nope, that's cool. I guess I'll just target whichever of the heads is closest to me, and I'm just gonna try and put this poor creature out of its misery.
Great.
Unless it do anything, this thing.
So, Chris, sorry.
Is this presumably opponent, is it doing anything? It doesn't seem like it's taken any hostile action yet.
Well, it has not taken any hostile action yet. That is accurate.
It's really horrifying to look at, as far as I can tell.
That is a fair assessment.
Okay.
Would you like to do something? You see what you see Flynn marching forward and drawing. What weapon do you use? Rapier, short sword?
Just a dagger.
Oh, just a dagger. Okay. It's not strictly your turn, Chris, but if you would like to do something to propose that, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill this thing, you have the opportunity.
Oh, I mean, no, it's not my turn. I don't really.
That's fine.
I think I'm only kind of coming up on the scene, and I'm just kind of trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
All right.
How did this get into our hot spring?
Darcy, when you say that I kind of brush aside the voices and noise or whatever that was kind of pressing in on my brain, was anything intelligible?
Ooh, interesting. Are you better at perception or investigation?
Perception.
Make me a perception test just to see what you can pick up quickly before it's suppressed. Okay, yeah. You are not so much focusing on the words that they affect you, but as you are pushing them aside, you are pulling out pieces, and they don't form coherent thoughts, but you are finding that there is meaning behind. Maybe not meaning. That's not the right way of saying that. But it's not just noises. They are these strings of noises are made up of words. You pick out. Honestly, they're sounding very similar to the way that Aldrin was reacting, right? Things like "get it out" and "make it stop" are the things that pop out the most to you. They're not the only words. It's not like it's just those being repeated, but that's the sort of feeling that you're getting from them, and the individual words that you are noticing, especially having just heard Aldrin making them.
Okay. All right, that changes nothing then.
Okay. Would you like to make a single attack with a dagger as you approach it?
Oh, are we that close already? I thought there would be a turn before I'd be close enough. But yeah, I can do that. Oh, I have to remember how to do that. What do I press? Do I just click on dagger?
Dagger should work. It will make a roll, and then if that's high enough to hit, which in this case it is, you can click on the word dagger in chat and it will roll damage for you. Great.
Lovely.
Your dagger stabs into the flesh, and it is soft and gooey, and you're not really sure if you're making any progress on it. A chunk of fur and goo sloughs off of it, separate from the main mass, but it's not really reacting to that pain.
Oh.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone. Winston, you are on the other side of this nightmare sandwich. What would you like to do?
I would like to roll for entangle and try to subdue the creature so it doesn't attack.
Cool. Okay, so as a druid, you are in your element, soaking in a hot spring and communing with the nature of your environment. We sort of brushed past the fact that you are actually a druid, because even though you are primarily a business owner, it is one of the land that you live within, and as such, that connection is very important to you. So, soaking in the hot spring, you manifest this spell and cause any foliage in the area to sprout and grow and burst into life. Normally, Entangle is sort of an area spell that hits a whole bunch of stuff, but I like the idea that you can sort of focus what you're doing with it to just kind of attempt to entangle this specific target. Maybe even like lifting it up even in a way that the spell would not normally allow you to do. I believe you simply cast the spell. Can you tell us what the casting of the spell looks like for you?
I disappear under the water, and then I raise my hand while under the water, and the algae that's like long and stringy sprouts from the water, creeping over the rocks and onto the mysterious fluff ball.
Very good. I love that. So, creatures in the area of the spell, when you cast it, must succeed at a strength saving throw or be restrained by the entangling plants. The area is normally a full 20-foot square, so that would affect, like, yourself probably even, and also Flynn, but I like the idea you're sort of focusing it inwardly and possibly even, like, raising this thing into the air and not just entangling it. That sounds very fun. So I will make a strength saving throw. And can you tell me what your spell DC is? I do not make it. I rolled a 4. It just for future reference, you will find your spell save DC is 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which means at level 1 through 3, it will be 10. So that's why it's done that way. And then you would add your ability modifier, which in this case is your wisdom. So I'm guessing it's probably around a 13.
Okay.
Yeah. So the mass, which makes total sense that it's not able to sort of scramble free from this. It's not really even trying to. It's just howling. The algae sort of creeps up around it and almost like cradles it in a way before lifting up into the air a good 2-3 feet, and kind of holding in this weird, like, soft kind of cage-like embrace. I imagine, Winston, are you going to stay in the water, or I kind of like this image of you, like, coming out, sort of holding the spell in your mind as you sort of strafe around it. But please describe yourselves. I should not speak for you.
Yeah, so I emerge from the water and I'm near the rocks. I think I'm just going to shuffle my way beside everybody so we're all on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my arm out, and so the spell is still going on.
Great. Yeah. So everyone sees this, of course. I imagine positionality. Flynn, you're still probably closest, followed by Winston, and then Aldrin back where you had dragged them off to. At this point, the gooey mass just starts to, like, make gross horking noises, which I will not do. I could, but I know that it would be gross. And just this, like, horrific Technicolor glob gets spat out of the lupine mouth on top. It lands sort of nearby Flynn, not like coming at your face or anything, but just like splatting on the ground next to you and explodes. Both Flynn and Winston, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Winston, you've got a -1 to your dexterity and rolled a natural 1. Basically the lowest you can roll, an actual 0. Flynn, you're able to, like, sidestep this, or maybe I think you might even, like, you have a cloak on, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think you, like, pull the cloak to sort of, like, protect yourself as the glob, as it explodes, actually lets out this, like, multicolored light and this, like, huge flash of it. Whereas Winston, you get a face full of it, and just, you are seeing stars. You don't feel like you're hurt, but you are blinded and cannot see right now.
What?
Mm-hmm. Then
What, do we also see like a flash of light?
you
or,
will see it, but you're not like close enough to it to be affected. After that, you've just sort of like recoiled back from the flash, Flynn, when the sort of mouths of this thing sort of reach out to you, and they sort of like dislocate from the rest of the face as it's all like this weird sluggish thing, and they try and lash at you. They do have disadvantage on this from being entangled though, but they are making an attack.
Okay.
I need to know what your armor class is.
13.
Okay, they will in fact hit. They bite into you. Just more, reach than you were initially expecting, as sort of the teeth in the mouth are sort of disconnected from each other, and they're able to get more of a bite on you. I'm gonna roll some damage. How much damage do I want to roll? I'm gonna roll this much damage. You take 8 damage as it bites into your side, or wherever you want it to bite into. And I need you to make another saving throw. Wow, these things are brutal. Please make me a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. You are fine. You get bit as the like force of it like lunging at you hits you. You're able to still like plant your feet and steady yourself and not get knocked down. But you are hurting.
Can I briefly describe what I'm seeing?
Please.
In my head?
Please.
So I'm seeing this like multicolor spitball hit the ground to my left.
Mm-hmm.
And I grab my cloak with my left arm and kind of fling it up around me, Dracula style.
Yes.
And I think that is when the monster attacks, and it bites, chomps into my left arm through the cloak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great.
Wounded left arm.
Puddles. And also Cass, but I'm focusing on Puddles here because I think that you get to go next. You see all this. What is your reaction?
How are ties determined, actually?
Ties are determined entirely by the GM. Don't let other GMs tell you that it's determined by the higher dexterity. That's what most people say, but it's not actually true.
Okay. Cool.
It's who they feel like is most appropriate in the situation, which, now that you say that, it does make more sense that you would be first, because Puddles has described himself as sort of walking into the scene a little bit later. So, Cass, go right ahead. You get initiative there. Thank you for that.
Okay, so I imagine like there's like kind of a mouth tentacle kind of deal going on with this thing.
I guess it's more like just like the gums are kind of like dislocated from the rest of the mouth, right?
Oh.
But there's like something connecting it to main creature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna run in and like cut on that bit.
All right. As you approach, it does not stop gurgling. Please make me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no. Let's see. So you just roll wisdom?
Yes, please. You feel these noises as you get closer. Like, you didn't really realize at a distance because you could hear them at a distance. But as you get closer, they are pounding on your head. They are like just hammering your skull as sounds. And you feel tears well up in your eyes, but you blink them back as you just barely pass that check. What do you do?
Yeah, I guess like I don't know if this counts as a sneak attack because like I don't know how observant this thing is.
Mm-hmm. So from a mechanical standpoint, rogues, you get your sneak attack if you are if you have an ally who is also adjacent to the thing. Basically, it's not so much that it's a sneak attack, it's just that you're taking advantage of a distraction, right? Their attention is focused on Flynn. So you can get in there. You totally get a sneak attack.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just trying to like cut off the bit that is like I can try to cut up the mouth off from the person.
All right, go ahead and make an attack with short sword.
Yeah.
Great.
I'll say. Oh, that's offhand.
Okay, 20 will definitely hit. You slice into the flesh of this thing. And as we said before about how like bits of it just kind of are sloughing off, there's a very good chance this is going to be quite effective. Please roll your damage.
Okay.
That's...
so they rolled a sneak attack as well, or
Yes, there's a second button for sneak attack, and it'll just roll damage. So you get 11 damage cutting into this thing, and as your like sword cuts down into it, you feel it just like basically the entire jaw just like falls off away from the rest of the main thing, just splats on the ground. And again, it's like I'm describing it very wetly, but it is like, I mean, it did just come out of a hot spring, but like it is fur and flesh. But it does just kind of like splatter as it hits the ground. You see that the creature, the main sort of head that you were first looking at, is like just stops at the snout now. It still has like eyes and the basic arrangement of a head. Of course, there's that other head that's just kind of like snapping ineffectually. And it is worth remembering because it's easy to sort of forget. This is entirely sort of caged by these entangling algae plants. Please go ahead.
Oh yeah, so as this happens, I see like this grossness way up close. I am calling to the bird person, and I think, what on earth is this? Or what in the hell is this? We're not on Earth. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, that seems like an okay time for them to sort of break out of their reverie, because they were pushed out of the way, and I think that will actually help them. So they're sort of spluttering, like, I don't know exactly if they can like formulate a full sentence yet, but you can see that they're like waking up from the reverie they were in before. Still sort of holding their head, but like their eyes are clearing as they look up at you. I don't think in the instance of combat that is a thing we can do. If we end up like, I don't know, taking a step back and having it just kind of thrashing in this weird algae jail, maybe, but we'll get there when we get there. Did you want to make a second attack? Because you have 2 short swords, right?
So I have a question. Would it take an action to like just like piece together anything I've heard on the road about stuff like this? Like
I think for some things it is like technically, and this is a rule that no one ever uses, so it's fine. Technically, like basically anything like that would be a full action. In a lot of situations, I think it is fine to sort of like have them be either bonus actions or free actions. Just like, what do you happen to remember? Because you're not really like racking your brain. You're trying to remember something. You're just like, but in this case, I think that you are putting a lot of like, you're trying to rack your brain and put the pieces together. In just like a flash, you don't think you've heard anything about this. I don't know how long you've been in the area for as well, so there's that. You do think that there's a chance that you could put the pieces together over bits and pieces of stories you've heard, but not right now. Puddles.
Sorry. Yeah. I guess in that case, I'm sorry. It's like I got interrupted.
Yeah, I heard that. That's why I was going to move on. But welcome back.
I'm back. Yeah, I can. So I guess like, so you're saying it would be So what do you say would be like?
I'd say
surveying
that you
roll?
need to take a decent amount of time to, like, if you want to investigate and put the pieces together, that would take a decent chunk of time and not something you're going to be able to do in combat, really. You could maybe if you forwent your entire turn, but otherwise, it's a bit deeper than that. In a flash, you know that you don't really know.
Okay, so in that case, I'm just gonna hit my other short sword.
Okay, so you have a bonus action to use your second short sword. You know what I mean.
Wow.
But yeah, no sneak attack this time, and no bonus damage from your dexterity, please.
And just roll to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So this time you are not. I think that as you like cut through the first chunk, sort of like almost like butter, and it gives way. That sort of actually, let me double check because it is entangled. You might have advantage on this. I should double check that just in case I am wrong about how restrained works. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. There you go. They do. I just knew that they had disadvantage. So yes, you look back at it. It's sort of hanging in the entangled grasp of the algae, and you can take your pick of where you stab or slice.
Yeah. So I guess like I try to slice. I guess like I go for the center of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So roll damage.
Yep. Go ahead. You can just click on short sword offhand, and 3 more damage. That is quite good. All right. Total 11, 3, 14. All right. Very good. That all happens as you sort of stab into it. You feel like it doesn't super, like, you're not cutting off a chunk of it in a way that's very noticeable. You just are stabbing through and kind of, you're not sure if you're hitting anything critical because of
it's like stabbing water, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has more resistance than water does.
Or stabbing molasses. I don't know, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good description. As you, like, pull your sword back out, it's, like, stuck to it in a weird way. You got, like, pieces of fur just, like, lining your sword. Puddles, do you have a response?
Yeah. So I'm coming up on this scene, and this looks like a bad time, honestly.
Yeah.
This seems like a pretty bad time. So I'm gonna help try and resolve this. My action has a range of 120 feet.
Good.
So when I get into range, I don't know if
You're in range. You're definitely in range. Sorry, I didn't realize that's what you were asking.
Well, I don't know if the mind control thing would happen or not, or if that's range based, or if you wanted to make me roll that.
Yeah, you really have to get up in melee like everyone else has.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, so I'm ways away, and I'm kind of like talking to myself. I'm like, oh, this doesn't look any good. And I pull a little pinch of like black powder out of my component pouch and sniff it a little bit, and it makes me sneeze, and a firebolt fires out of my nose when I sneeze.
Very good.
And oh, that's not the button I wanted. This button? That button. So
well,
I think that's
it should still hit, right? Because of the advantage.
I have advantage?
You have advantage because it is restrained by the algae tentacles or
grasp. So that's a 22 spell range spell attack, it's called. Mm-hmm. Which I guess uses AC. I'm not sure if that uses AC.
It does, yeah. It just means it doesn't count for like things that only key off of weapon attacks is the idea.
Okay, so that's 6 fire damage.
Great. The bolt of fire smacks into this thing, and the reaction is dramatic as the fur ignites and the whole thing just goes up like it's covered in kerosene. No one nearby gets like hit by the backdraft or anything, but you feel it. You feel the heat of it, like standing next to a bonfire, as it just like suddenly goes up. It's only burning for like half a second or so. It's just like, but it is dramatic as this thing chars and melts and seeping between the seeping out of the entangling grasp and pooling into a black substance on the ground. Aldrin coughs and starts to get to their feet.
So I thought Aldrin was flying above us.
They approached it and fell down
Ah,
as they failed their save against the
so I've got my like
creature.
staff that I'm like leaning on a little bit. I guess it must be a very thick staff if I'm able to lean on it.
Yeah, it's just a big old sapling.
And yeah, like, so what's all the commotion about?
Mostly that.
All right. Let's see what I can tell you. I don't know a lot about the specifics. This is actually more than I saw before. I was heading back to the council to make a report on a rogue wizard in the area. And we believe, or I believe, this is something they were making. A failed experiment, I suppose. At least I hope it's failed, judging by that.
Experiment.
Sorry, Chris?
Is it a wizard experiment?
It's, well, this is more than I found. Just traces, fur, bits of ambient magical energy on the trail. I'm gonna have to see if I can find where this came from, specifically, before I turn my report in. I can't let this pass up. Does anyone have any questions? I want to make sure that people feel like they have the opportunity to ask stuff.
I think if other people are asking questions, I would like to subtly take an empty bottle and get some of the residue of this creature into it.
Right, everyone's like turned to look at Aldrin as they sort of get to their feet and start talking about stuff, and you slip back and get a sample. Love that. You can write that down on your sheet.
All right, cool.
I feel like Flynn and Winston make sense to have pressing questions, if any.
I kind of just points at him and like, what is that thing doing in here? It shouldn't be here. And he runs off to get a mop and bucket.
I suppose if you're going to run off, Aldrin will turn to Flynn. I'm not sure how it got in here. I mean, I don't know more than you know. I suppose this looks suspicious, but...
How did you learn about it in the first place?
The council wanted me to investigate the...
Should we know what the council is?
I feel like this would depend. I think that the council is a situation where probably you know the basics of like there is a council of wizards in the city to the north, but like anything more than that, that would depend on your own personal history and readings and stuff.
Okay.
Which you could make a knowledge test if you'd like to, or you can just, I mean, you should make a test if you want to know more, I suppose. But I would prefer that you have like specific questions, because I don't know what I'm going to tell you if you just roll well generically.
Yeah. I think I would like to know this person as being upfront about.
You want to roll an insight check?
Yeah.
Okay, please. We see you sort of like crouch down and get some of the sludge, and sort of look up from where you are and squint at them.
Yeah.
They are opaque at the current
I
moment.
imagine.
So
I guess
if you like engage them more in conversation and can get pick up one more of their tells, then you might be able to figure that out. But
I guess I don't know I don't know how much to give about my backstory, but could I argue for getting advantage for stuff from my backstory?
Well, you're not making a knowledge check about the council, right? You're just trying to read this person.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your background's relevant to this, but I like the idea of bringing in advantage based on your background. Totally appropriate. Sorry,
thing.
you cut out there.
Yeah.
What was that? Be? I didn't hear it.
Is that not a thing or
It's not. I mean, basically, D&D 5th edition says the GM should give advantage whenever the players are in an advantageous situation, right? And that is advantageous in my eyes, but it's not explicitly a rule, right? It's not something that you'll always get to do unless you have a special ability that gives it to you. So, in this situation, I don't think that you are getting advantage here. Reading people... D&D makes it seem like reading people is really easy. It's not, right? Like, this is a person, you don't know them. You have no reason to be able to, like, immediately know if they're lying or anything, just from one conversation with them. So, get to know them a bit better. Maybe you'll figure it out next time.
Yeah. Anyway, suspicion.
Please, Bianca.
So Aldrin said they were ordered by the council to come and investigate.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were going to be returning with a report. What's in your report?
I had managed to find signs of what I now believe was this, but that's as far as we got at the moment. I had a lead on a direction that they might be hiding out in, but this is much more information than I had previously.
Hiding out? Are they sentient? Are they aware? Are they congregating?
And
how did they escape? And is this wizard on my land?
I believe so. I suppose they'd recognize you. You're noble. That's a thing people recognize, especially probably someone like this. Yeah.
I have a signet ring. If it makes it easier just for the storyline, I can be wearing it on like a chain around my neck, and maybe they recognize the coat of arms or something.
Yeah. Your family's Proudtail, you said?
Yes.
Right. So I think that they will like formally address you, right? Would you be a master? What title would they refer to you as?
I don't think Flynn really adheres to titles.
Right, but like they don't know you. Like what would
Master Proudtail probably be acceptable, but whatever they say, Flynn's gonna end up just brushing them aside and just say like, I'm Flynn.
Okay. Master Proudtail.
It's Flynn, unless my father is around.
Flynn.
Please.
I know your family and the council don't always see eye to eye, but yes, a wizard that is really their responsibility is somewhere on your land. Creating this, I suppose. Cass.
Yeah.
You hear this. I just want to make sure that you're making note of it as a player. Do with that what you will.
Yeah. Okay. That's the family doesn't see eye to eye with the Proudtails.
No, that there is
Castle.
a rogue wizard that is somewhere on these lands, creating things like this.
Cool. Gotcha.
Okay, cool. Just making sure you got it.
Yeah.
Where did Winston go? Winston, it would be a great time to just to show up happenstantially. That would be great.
Oh yeah, Winston comes back with a mop and bucket.
Great, yeah, we see you come in. Probably actually a little bit earlier in the scene. You came back with the mop and bucket. And at that point, Aldrin turns to Winston. Winston, I don't think I'll be needing that room. No time but now to head this off. And you see that they're like sort of scouring, like just sort of scanning the area, like where did they come in from? How would that have happened? You see like basically a very obvious trail of like just this furry goo mess, right? Where they sort of like came in over. I think they actually went like under the fence, basically. We've got trackers in the area. If anybody wants to like sort of assess what the trail tells them, they may. But we see Aldrin sort of focusing in on that and being like, all right. And they turn to all of you and they say, thank you. I'm ashamed for how I performed there. But this is my duty. And I'm heading off to, well, see if I can find where this came from.
Whoa. Hold up. Aldrin, friend, you can't leave right away. This is in my land. I need more information. Where is this wizard? How long has he been here? How many of these beasts are there? Are my people in danger?
We don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. You're welcome to come with me.
To the city?
No. Probably further. Not to the city. I'll be returning my report when I have exhausted this lead.
I think that's what Catherine J's like. Probably, you do not seem qualified to be doing that.
It's worth mentioning that because, everyone took a turn clobbering on this thing, that the entire fight probably was like, 10 seconds at most.
Oh, yeah.
It's very possible that they were momentarily shook, but would have been able to recover. But, I mean, that is a fair response. I just want to make sure that is clear as a player.
Yeah, okay.
And so, yeah, they like look down at their feet and they're just like, perhaps. We all have our duties, right?
I put my swords on my back and say, look, I don't know who made this thing, but I don't want to see any more of those. So, kind of intuitively, I feel like I gotta go with you.
And then Winston chimes in, wait, did you say there's more of these? As in, there's more that could come in and turn into this thing in my spa? And then he like throws down the mop and bucket. I gotta check this out. I gotta make sure my spa doesn't get ravaged again.
I welcome the support. I want to be clear, I don't know what's waiting for us at the end of this trail.
Well, better I find it than some poor, unsuspecting civilian.
Agreed.
I'm coming with you.
I imagine I pictured the scene in my head of like everyone sort of doing this like agreeing situation, and then there's a beat and they all turn towards puddles. Just
And your staff?
Which direction was it from?
Aldrin sort of looks back at the sort of trail petering away. Well, southwest at the moment, but I suppose we'll see as we follow it.
Why was it so mean?
Tortured existence, I think. This was, well...
Oh, maybe we should have let it stay in the spa. It would relax.
Perhaps. Or it might have drowned itself. It's better now. You did well.
Should come see my rocks.
There's no pressure for you to come. But I'm heading out now. No time to rest. And they'll turn and start to take flight. Would you like to fade to black there?
Yeah.
We're coming up on 10.
Yeah, it seems like a decent wrapping point.
Yeah.
Great. So over the week, you can decide how you all want to respond to this. I know that this probably feels very like, this is the plot hook, go follow it, but feel free to think about it and see what you want to do, right? I don't want to push my players into anything. I just want to know what you're thinking so I can prepare for that next week. Everyone's good to play next week?
Yeah.
Yeah, should
I
be.
think so. What's 19th? Yeah, should be good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you everyone for joining me for the first episodes of Hot Springs and Hydras. I'm very excited to see how this comes together.
Mm-hmm. Very
As-
intriguing first episode.
Thanks. As always, I'm DarcyBits. Have a very good night.